What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are traditional fans with opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. And first off will be One Piece episode 1124. And this one, basically, you have the Straw Hats, CP0, and the Vegapunks all recapping like how they got to where the Straw Hats are holding York hostage. They explain how they fought off the Seraphim, how the Seraphim were basically pacified, and basically, after explaining all that, it shows Kizaru attacking um, Egghead Island, and the big fight against Kizaru is about to start, and that's really it. It's a very good episode. It explains everything about what the heck happened, how they captured York, how they would defeat the Seraphim, and Boa Hancock. That the Seraphim for her was freaking funny. Just how she's just like the real Hancock. It's so funny. And I like the new opening and anything. Not as good as the ones first part of Egghead. Not even close. Not even close. But still good music, I would say. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the setups done. So next week, hopefully, is now for when all the big fights start to happen. And next up is One Piece Chapter 1145. So in this one, Straw Hats and the Giants are still trying to save the children. It's trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And like Loki's being fed food by Luffy, who wants to hear more about Shanks, and Loki reveals that he admired Rocksteady Zebek, similar to how Luffy admired Shanks. So now you have a parallel, which good chance that could lead to like Loki becoming a major ally for the Straw Hats, which that'd be very powerful if the God Knights were trying to recruit Loki. If he becomes an ally to the Straw Hats, that makes these very interesting. And it looks like Bunko from the God Knights is starting to make her move. Whatever whatever her role is, who knows? It's gonna be very interesting because apparently she's a fan of Brooks' music, so she comes across Brooks, she might start fangirling. We know Sanji will struggle fighting her, so be interesting to see how that battle goes. Like the Straw Hats versus the God Knights. It's gonna be very fun, I think. Alright, now for News Exorcist Chapter 93. So in this one, Kakuro is still trapped by Aramine, and you know, Gakuro wants to learn more about the Fujo family. Aramine wants to be with Gakuro. So eventually Gakuro is able to basically beat Aramine. He's able to escape her trap. But then it's revealed there's someone else hiding in Aramine's or Ishu's shadow. So now, and so now this shadow poisons Aramine, and then Gakuro takes the poison, and it basically gets passed out. But he's able to save both of them. And Aramine then tells New about the Fujino family and how Gracie wants to resurrect all the Hio except for New in 3 days. And and then Gracie will transport all the Hio's bodies to the Fujino estate. So it looks like we might be getting near the end game of this series. And then it ends with news idea of declaring war against the Fujinos is to have Gakuro and Aramine get married. I have no idea why. Right now it's just being played for laughs, but it was an interesting chapter, so they're setting up the next big battle. I like this. This is cool. We're getting near the end, I think. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next chapter. Next up is Elusive Samurai, Chapter 198. So, Tokiyuki and his friends mourn the death of their fallen enemy, former comrade, Fubuki. And after that time of mourning, Tokiyuki has to cut off Fubuki's head to show that he had killed his opponent. And Fubuki's forces surrender. So then Elusive Samurai have to prepare for their next battle, which is against the Konos. And Aoto's father comes and gives them all rice and gives Aoto the name Himeyasha. And which there's a joke because like Hime means princess and she's definitely Aoto does not act like a princess at all, at least how you expect. So there's some last play to that. And basically the entire Elusive Samurai and their group, they're hanging out to save Tadayoshi from the Konos. And they're joined by Hachiro. And so basically they're all hanging out the battle. And then Ashikaga, Tadafuyu, who had defeated Kono Moroyasu, and now and Ashikaga Takaji is in a bind. He's not used to losing. And so basically like you have their battle going on and Akaji is shocked that he might lose. He's like, what the heck? I was sure we'd win. So it's now it's a big fight and Tadayoshi's, having the advantage early on right now. And so looks like I don't know how close we are to the end of this. I mean, the kids are adults, so we are close to the end of this manga probably, but Takaji, looks like he's getting weaker and now there's a chance he may lose. So that battle's gonna happen. Probably the final confrontation between Tokiyuki and Takaji is probably about to happen soon. And it's probably gonna be very interesting. So let's look forward to that. Alright. Now for Kagurabachi Chapter 74. So this finishes the flashback for Seichi Samura and his daughter Iori. So it shows Seichi be recruited to kill the sword bearers and Iori like losing her memory. Like it shows all that and Iori having remembered all that, the seal on her memory is completely broken. She wants to see her father again. So Chihiro it tries to help make an opening for her and you know the big battle's about to happen and Chihiro activates his sword and it looks like the big confrontation with Iori and Seiji's gonna happen. Whether it's gonna be a duel, whether it's gonna be a conversation, who knows? But this is a good chapter. This has been a good arc, and I'm looking forward to see what happens next chapter between the Samuras because it is some really interesting stuff. Seichi is a cool character. All right, next up, Astro Royale, Chapter 48. So in this one, it's revealed that Tendo's plan for the tournament was to have a bunch of people gather in arena and he would then use the daybreak order to absorb their energy from their emotions to become a giant monster. And so you have Hebrew, all of his adopted siblings, which there's a lot of, and his friend Kimpa Yobada. They're all they all gather together to fight the monster. And this was like the big fight's about to happen. The Yatsurugis are finally to be united. The honorable Yakuza family. So yeah, good setup for a big fight about to happen. Really like the design for the monster. I think this could be a really good fight coming up with all the siblings finally united. Alright, now for Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Chapter 39. So in this one, first Demon Lord Tanjinchi attacks Akari, but then Akari's brother Karuda and Mako, they attack Tanjinchi, and basically the three of them fight Tanjinchi, but they're beaten easily. Then Nihon and Jackjo appear and try to help, but they're still injured from their fight, so they get beaten pretty easily as well. So then at the end, Tenma Sakaki appears to fight Tanjinchi. So now we have a cross paladin versus a demon lord, and that looks to be what the next chapter will cover. So we're going to see probably a very big battle coming up. And I would say this was a good chapter. You know, Sakaki is cool, and it was interesting to see him go all out against a demon lord. That will be fun to read. Next up is Ichi the Witch, Chapter 29. So this one, Ichi tells Descaras about what Dokuraku told him about Bakugami. So, and Descaras is very hesitant to believe him. And so, what the plan is for Descaras is basically the head of security right now for Bakugami unofficially. So what happens is Ichi and Gokuraki just start yelling insults towards Bakugami, and they're chased. And Descaras uh, go stays to quote protect Bakugami, and she wants to investigate whether or not he actually is a threat or not. So looks like there's about to be a big fight against Bakugami. His true colors will be revealed to public very soon. It looks like. And that could be an interesting. See, like he seems so lazy, but he comes up and be like he's probably about to just start fighting. Like he's not as I don't think he's as lazy as he likes to portray himself. Now, if he ends up being completely weak, I'm sure they could make a few jokes out of that. But I think Ichi and Gokuraku are going to be fighting Bakugami. That should be a fun fight. I like this chapter, and I'm looking forward to see where the next chapter goes. Next up is Embers Chapter 10. So in this one, Haitani, who's still new at soccer, is nervous or the fact that he overheard the coach and team captain say that he's the core of the offense. So he starts trying to run around everywhere and cause problems for everyone. And eventually the team captain tells him to basically calm down, tells him how he's the core is that he's the best at stealing the ball from the other team. So their offense starts with him stealing the ball. So he just needs to do what he's always been doing, playing really good defense and stealing the ball from the other team. And that seems to really help Haitani. And looks like the team's about to make a really good comeback right here. So big time soccer next week's chapter. So yeah, this was a good, short chapter. Just Haitani trying to process things. It's his first big soccer game. So first game nerves, which anyone who's played sports know how that is. And that's what Haitani was having. And especially being told he's the core of the offense. And so, if you're a fan of sports, you know how nerve-wracking this can be. So it's a good chapter, and Haitoni's probably about to just go off next week as a defender. So yeah. Next up is Star Beethoven Chapter 9. So this one, Yasu starts attending school, and his friend Kohoin introduces him to Igao, or Igo, however it's pronounced. And Igao is shown to not like Yasu, and it's revealed that her grandfather was Yasu's piano mentor. And basically, when he basically was around, he worked himself really hard teaching Yasu, and then you know obviously and then when Yasu abandoned the piano, and that really pissed off Igao, so she does not like Yasu. And then Beethoven is just relaxing home, seems to be writing the new piano sonata number 33. And then the two people who are trying to find him, they're on the plane to Japan, and I don't know when they're gonna come across Beethoven, but it's like it's about to be soon. We'll figure out what the heck is going on with Beethoven. So yeah, interesting chapter. A new sonata, that'd be a cool thing to read about. So yeah. Alright. Next up is Gabriel and the Guardians Chapter 0. So there's two stories here. One looks like it's a backstory for the whole thing. In this first say the mortals, Kane are um Zayet, the last son of Afar, attacks Kayan the Builder. And they have their duel. Kayan wins and says a prophecy and kills Shayet. And then next part, yeah, Gabriel, who's the guardian of Paradim, and he fights this giant. And and the giant steals the eternal seed, and Gabriel jumps into a portal to get back the eternal seed at any cost. So not much is shown as a pilot chapter. I would have liked to see more, but there is a TV show. I have not seen the show, but I am intrigued by it. So yeah, this is a good chapter. Looks like hope based on what I'm seeing, looks like there may be more chapters. I hope so. This could be a good market for Reverse to do to work with Angel Studios, cross over that fandom. Yeah, I'm interested in what the story is. It looks like a good fantasy series, and I like fantasy. It's my favorite genre, so I'm interested in how future chapters go whenever they get around being released. So yeah, you know, can't say much. I say this was an okay chapter. Not a lot of information. I would have liked more, but looks to be just a tie-in to just lead up to the show. So it's not enough information here to give a good review on, but it's okay. I think the artwork is awesome. You know, there's some intrigue, but I would have liked more for a first chapter in order to, you know, be able to gauge more on how good this is. So yeah, I'd say this was okay. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.